Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back to All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass. And today we're taking a look at NFL.com's Gennaro Filice's 2024 NFL mock draft. Seeing who he took for the Chiefs, I think you may like it, but before we dive in, appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for clicking that bell for us. Let's jump right into the action. We've got Gennaro Filice's first round, and it looks like Jacksonville is where it gets a little bit spicy, and this is where it switches it up. So we'll start here. Quinyon Mitchell, a trade up with Denver. So Denver doesn't trade up to get their quarterback. They trade down to pick up their second round pick, and Jacksonville comes up to take Quinyon Mitchell, who I think is the best corner in this draft. So this starts a run on corner. Okay, now we start seeing the tackles come off the board. Fuanga to the Saints. We'll now see Troy Fautanu to Seattle. Oli Fashanu goes to Denver when they traded back to 17. Now this puts a little bit of a wrinkle into what most mock drafts do, and this is why I wanted to display this mock draft, just because you don't know how it's going to fall. So this is something where a lot of tackles go early. A lot of teams like Denver now take a tackle that you don't usually see take it. The Bengals decide to go with Amarius Mims, another tackle. They don't go, for Brian Thomas. They don't go for an A.D. Mitchell. They just go ahead and say, hey, T. Higgins, we're not going to trade you. It doesn't matter. We're going with the tackle here. So it gets a little crazy. And what I wanted to show here was once you get these wide receivers now taking a run in the early 20s, Brian Thomas Jr. going to the Chargers. You're going to get Tyler Guyton, another tackle off the board. You get A.D. Mitchell going to the Patriots. This was a trade with Arizona that he projects. Xavier Worthy now goes to the Bills. You have Michael Penix, the Raiders coming back up for him. That knocks a team out that could take an offensive tackle or something. But here we go. Kingsley Suamataia, which is a pick that we always like to take here. San Francisco takes him at 31. So who does that leave on the board? All your top-tier wide receivers are off. All your top-tier tackles are off. Your top-tier tackles, say that 5 times fast, all your top-tier tackles are off. So what do you do? And this is why mock drafts are so fun. And he takes my personal favorite wide receiver, Ricky Pearsall out of Florida. I think he is this year's Puka Nacua. He said, it's a tradition unlike any other. No, not this weekend's Masters, mocking a different wideout to the Chiefs. Thus far this draft season, we the people who claim clairvoyance in the name of NFL.com have projected the following wideouts to KC. Devontae Walker twice, Roman Wilson, Keon Coleman, Troy Franklin, Xavier Worthy twice, then thrice, then quadrice, and then 5 times, then half a dozen. I made the joke with Bro Schmo just the other day. If you haven't watched that one, go back and watch it. Everybody mocks Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs. It seems like it's a size, speed, profile, but sometimes it's different. It's fun to look at different people. So A.D. Mitchell's been mocked, Ladd McConkey. He said, so we got a little group thinky with Mr. Worthy, but as you can see, I'm here today introducing a new name, Pretty Ricky Pearsall. He made the catch of the year in college football. He's much more than a mind-bending moment. Mr. Filice, you did not put Pretty Ricky Pearsall on the map. This guy did. All Chiefed Up did that. We've been big on Ricky Pearsall, and now people are starting to catch on the same way they did with Kingsley Suamataia. I'm glad everybody could come along. So anyways, let's jump into a little bit of Ricky Pearsall, and I'll go through and show you guys why I think this is a very, very good pick. So Ricky Pearsall, he scored very well at the Combine, a 9.9 RAS. He's 6 foot, 189. He run a 4.41 40-yard dash. I think Ricky Pearsall is a guy that is just flat out just a baller you want on your team. He grew up in Chandler, Arizona. He attended Corona del Sol High School in Tempe. As a junior, he set the Arizona High School 6A receiving yard record for a single game. He had 342 yards on 14 receptions against Gilbert High School. And he finished the season with 74 catches for 1,100 yards, 15 touchdowns. He ended up being a 3-star recruit, and he took his talents to in-state Arizona State Sun Devils, and actually Herm Edwards was a guy that actually recruited him. He done decent there. He had a season cut short due to COVID. He decided he would come back. He played the next season, and then he transferred out to Florida. He wanted to test his skills there. The only injuries I can find is that he hurt his foot when he first transferred to Florida. But other than that, nothing else. I can't really find anything else on Ricky here. So it looks like he's a guy that's escaped serious injury, unless I've just completely overlooked that. But I do believe Ricky Pearsall is a he is a good player to have in a Chiefs uniform because of all of his versatility. Again, I'll read you some pros and cons of everything about Ricky Pearsall that I have. He's 6'1", 189. He has an elite 4.41 40-yard time. He has a 1.57 10-yard split, which is very, very good. A 42-inch vertical, which is super elite. Almost 31-inch arms, over 9-inch hands. He can grip the ball. 50% contested catch rate and only a 2.7% drop rate for our boy Ricky Pearsall. And I'll just put up some highlights for you. Shout out to Scott Kennedy for these Senior Bowl highlights. When he was at the Senior Bowl, he was unguardable. Him, Ladd McConkey, Roman Wilson, they were all pretty much unguardable. And he was in that group. He transferred to Florida. He considered Oregon, but he didn't go there. He went to Florida. He ended up being very good at Florida, a nice playmaker there. He's an excellent route runner. He's a technician at the position. He had elite testing. He's got elite athleticism. He's just a student of the game. He has lots of drive to succeed. He had success at 2 different schools. Like I said, Herm Edwards at Arizona State. He goes to Florida. He plays there. Just a good kid in different systems. He learns them quickly. He picks them up. He's a student of the game. He has great hands. I mentioned he only has a 2.7% drop rate. He only had 2 drops in 2023, and his 5 seasons in the NCAA, although one was cut short due to COVID, he still only had 6 drops in 5 seasons. Again, he went to the Senior Bowl. He showed that he was an elite route runner. He was right up there with Ladd McConkey, Roman Wilson. Those 3 could not be stopped. They were very impressive. They're kind of the same tier receiver. A lot of people think Ricky Pearsall is going to be just a slot-only guy. That's not true. Actually, when he was at Florida this past year in 2023, he only ran 56% of his routes from the slot. He actually ran 42% out wide. So he can go all over the place, which is really good for an Andy Reid offense. You have to be a receiver that can't just strictly stay to the slot. We've seen that with Sky Moore. That's the reason why Sky Moore has been labeled a bust. He is a very slot-specific receiver. I don't think Ricky Pearsall is that at all. I think he does well in the slot. He will eat up the middle of the field. But look, he doesn't – when the quarterback throws to him, 116 QB rating when throwing at Ricky Pearsall. He doesn't get flagged for penalties. He had 0 penalties. Like I said, he only had 2 drops on the season, and it was just an insane 2023 season where he had 963 yards off 65 catches. He had 4 touchdowns. He doesn't fumble. He only had 1 fumble his entire career, so he's good with the ball in his hands. Ricky Pearsall is just a lot of good things, man. He can work a zone. He can beat man-to-man. He eats up easy yardage in the middle of the field, intermediate routes. He will put his body at risk. He will catch everything in his vicinity, and he does not shy away from contact. He can be used for special plays in the red zone. If you want to be a red zone threat, if you want to have a McCole Hardman kind of thing. He's only had 3 rushing attempts on trick plays in the rounds, things like that. But those 3 rushing attempts went for 62 yards, and 2 of them were touchdowns. 1 of them was a long of 39. He's good with the ball in his hands. He's not elite. He's not elite by any means. He's not going to be like the shiftiest Tyreek Hill kind of player, but he is very good with the ball in his hands. Now I'll get to some cons. Some cons is he's an older prospect. His birthday's in September, so when the season starts, he will turn 24. Usually Brett Veach doesn't like older players, but look, we know Brett Veach will use these guys for 4 years, maybe pick up the 5th-year option, and once they're good enough to get paid, they're usually out the door anyway. So he's out the door at 29, big deal. Nobody really wants 29, 30-year-old receivers anyways. He's not necessarily what you would call a home run threat. I don't think so. I think he tracks the ball well, but he's more reliable, working the middle of the field, getting in the soft spot of the zone. Think Rashee Rice, not as good after the catch as Rashee Rice because they're totally different. But I will say he is a threat to go vertical, but that's just not going to be his thing. Like, it's not just going to be like MVS, go vertical, and that's all you're doing. This guy can eat the middle of the field. He's good against man-to-man, good against zone. He's a little small, if you want to call him a true X receiver. Again, he's only 189 pounds. I think Justin Watson, by the way, Justin Watson is a guy he would probably replace the role of. A guy that can kind of do a little X. He can play a little slot. He can do this. He can do that. He's a fast guy. I'm going to throw that up in a minute, let you guys look at some comparables there, because I think that was a very fun exercise that I was doing, and I want you guys to see it. But I do think he has flashes of being a game changer. but it's not like he is a game changer in a way. Like, again, he's a serviceable run blocker. He's not elite. And because of his size, there may be times where he does have flashes of being a game changer. I see it. Go watch some catches. Go watch the catch against Charlotte, against Florida. That was the catch of the year. It was amazing. To me, he doesn't feel like a top-tier wide receiver one, and this is why a lot of people think first round is too rich for Ricky. I think I feel more comfortable somewhere between 40 and 50, but here's what I'll say. At 32, if the scenario comes down and there's no receivers on the board that you like, which Ladd McConkey was on the board here in this mock draft by Gennaro Filice, so he did choose to take him over Ladd McConkey. He also took him over Keon Coleman and Roman Wilson and Troy Franklin. That's a different conversation. I love Ladd McConkey. He's actually my wide receiver 6. Ricky Pearsall's my wide receiver 10. So I would have probably pulled the trigger on McConkey, but I do like Ricky Pearsall. And again, he's a game changer, but he's not that big of a game changer. He's more like a very high-end number 2. If you think Rashee Rice is going to get through the legal troubles and could be the wide receiver 1, if you think Hollywood Brown's going to perform and you maybe lock him up for 3 to 4 years after this season, this guy's a perfect complement to that. And I do think he has the intangibles and just a few things to go right, and he could be a wide receiver 1. I think some comps that I threw out for him, number 1, the comp I want to throw out was Justin Watson, and that's not a perfect comp, but this shows what it is. Justin Watson's about an inch taller. He does weigh a lot more. Again, Justin Watson's almost got that X body frame, but it doesn't matter because when it comes down here to the testables, Pearsall's got him beat in the 40. He's got him beat on a 20-yard split. He's got him beat at the 10-yard split. He out-jumps him by 2 inches. He's got more burst on the broad jump. He's faster in the shuttle in tight spaces. He's way faster in the 3-cone, which means he can move and shake and shimmy and beat the linebackers, beat whoever he's matched up on. And I think he would replace and upgrade Justin Watson immediately. One of the first guys that come to mind for me that I want to show you a comparison was Miles Austin. If you guys remember him, he played at Monmouth in 2006. He played with the Dallas Cowboys. This is their comparables. Again, Miles Austin's about an inch taller, and he weighs a little more. Miles Austin's pretty close to the Justin Watson. But again, this is the kind of role he would have within our offense. If you can think back of Miles Austin, was he a wide receiver 1? Probably not by most standards, but he was very, very good, and he was a big key piece to that Cowboys offense. Again, Ricky Pearsall blows by him on every single measurable. The only place he's even close here is his vert at 40.5 to 42 inches. So again, Ricky Pearsall towards Miles Austin. I didn't think that was a perfect one, so I was like, let's think some more. I come up with Nate Burleson. You guys will know Nate Burleson. He now does some stuff off of NFL Network. He played with the Vikings. He came out of Nevada in 2003. They're pretty similar when it comes to height. Now, Ricky Pearsall's got about an inch on him. The weight, still a little undersized there, but he destroys him in measurables all the way down the board, just destroys him in the measurables. The only thing he did lose now was Burleson had a 42.5-inch vert, which a half-inch extra vert is insane there. This is where I ultimately settled in, and again, it feels lazy. It's a white receiver. But I'm telling you, Adam Thielen's what I see. And I actually think with the testing, Ricky Pearsall has the ability to take all the good qualities of Adam Thielen and then make it more explosive. That's exactly what I see. They're pretty spot on in height. They're pretty spot on in weight. You'll see that Thielen didn't even bench, so we don't know how strong he is, but we've all seen Thielen play. Strength's not his forte. He's way faster in the 40. He's got a better 20-yard split. The 10-yard split's probably better too, even though they don't have Thielen's listed. His vert is much higher. His broad jump and his burst is better. His shuttle is quicker. His 3-cone is quicker. Everything about Ricky Pearsall tells me he is an upgraded Adam Thielen. He is an upgraded Miles Austin. He is an upgraded Justin Watson. And so with that, Gennaro Filice takes him at number 32. And would I enjoy that? Yes, I would. I would very much enjoy Ricky Pearsall in a Chiefs uniform in 2024. At 32, it feels a little rich. Maybe if we could get somebody coming in to get a quarterback and you could fall back 5-6 spots and take a Ricky Pearsall, I would love it. That would be my dream scenario if you couldn't get a big tackle there. But yeah, that's going to wrap this one up, guys. Gennaro Filice takes Ricky Pearsall. He's my Puka Nacua of the year. People are starting to come around to it. I think Ricky Pearsall is going to be a playmaker and a dog in this league. And I was excited when I seen Gennaro Filice mock him to the Chiefs. So if you guys like this content, be sure to let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, click that bell, and we'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs.